The Art Scholl Memorial Showmanship Award is given to an airshow act or a performer which best exemplifies the qualities of showmanship as demonstrated by the consummate professional and showman himself, Art Scholl. Now, Rick, we must remember.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, oh, yes.
Yeah.
We must remember coming up.
Because there has been an emphasis on booze, hasn't there?
There has been.
This year. Steph, I may need help, though, with this.
Oh, you want me to carry that?
Yeah, if you could get that, that'd be great. You can take care of that, Emily. And then don't reveal anything yet.
Well, how do you want me not to reveal anything?
No, Emily, because she's got the placard.
Okay.
And you have to bring this out. There we go.
Let the lady in the dress and the heels. Don't worry, guys. I got it. I got it. Totally fine. Okay.
There you go. Excellent.
Super.
Excellent.
I'll just go stand down here.
It's part of the deal.
I got it. Okay.
There you go. No, actually, I think I want it over here, Stephanie. If you
got it.
Just bring it back on the other side. You know what?
Yeah.
Never mind. Just put it back
Okay.
where it was. That's great. She kind of stumbled on her heels. I'm going to pay for this afterwards. I just know it. Mike, yes, I am. Mike Goulian's going to help us with the presentation, too. Mike, if you could step out from behind us here somewhere. There you are. You know the whole story behind this wonderful Jack Daniels bottle. Wow.
I do. You know, it's a tradition that everybody knows that after the Art Scholl Award is given, everybody takes a swig of the Jack Daniels, and the story is that the DNA of all the best airshow pilots in the world is in the bottle of that, but there was never anywhere to keep it. So when I received it, I had this bottle, and I'm like, what the heck am I going to do with it? So had a great woodworking friend, and we created that thing. So now everybody that gets the bottle also gets to keep the trophy for a year.
Made from toothpicks, too.
It is, yeah, toothpicks.
It's all toothpicks.
Canadian toothpicks.
So let's end the suspense right now. Mike, if you could help us in the presentation, too. Let's roll the video.
David Martin is just the pilot's pilot. He's the guy that if you're an aviator, you go, that dude has it.
Whether he's performing in his Bucher biplane, the aerobatic Bonanza, the Cap 232, the P-51 Mustang, or doing dead stick aerobatics in his stock Beechcraft Barrett, he is the ultimate artist and showman.
It's his way of giving back to an industry is to show the modern generation what it was like to be around the airshow greats of the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s.
David never saw an airplane he didn't want to fly aerobatically. He's a stick and rudder guy, which everyone admires. He's taken all of those skills and transformed them into an outstanding aerial imitator.
Come on up, David.
Come on, David.
Okay, stand there for a minute.
All right, David has to stand there for a minute. So unless you've spent a lot of time hanging around Oshkosh, Reno, Sun and Fun, or some of the big Texas air shows, well, I guess in Texas they're all big, you might not know David Martin, but the pilots in this room sure do. We know David because he's one of those people who can fly anything that has wings. He started out as a competition aerobatic pilot more than 20 years ago, but today he's known as the guy that performs in every type of airplane that's sitting in his hangar down in Little Possum Kingdom Lake, Texas. As a friend of David's, I can tell you that receiving this award tonight is more special to him than anyone will ever know. You see, David isn't a self-promoter. I'm not sure he can even spell Instagram or Facebook. He simply lets his flying do the talking, not any fancy pictures. His passion for flying and aerobatics are unparalleled. David flies for the love of it. In fact, David flew every day for 1,000 826 straight days. For those of you who are counting, that's a little more than 5 years. Don't ask me why, he just did. And David's an aerobatic historian. Yes, it's true. He's the geek you call when you're debating with your friends about the N number of Gene Soucy's pits. The pits he flew when the U.S. team won the World Championship in 1972. And he can surely also tell you everything you want to know about the airshow routines of Leo Loudensager, Charlie Hillard, and Art Scholl. Probably maneuver by maneuver. He loves this business that much. And for an airshow pilot, the Art Scholl Award is the pinnacle of achievement. And it's fitting that David is receiving this award tonight, because I think that right now, Leo, Charlie, and Art are looking down on us with a smile and giving David a thumbs up because he deserves to belong in this elite club. David, congrats, my friend.
Thank you. Wow, this is scary looking up here. This is much scarier than flying upside down with your engines off. I was lucky enough to see Art Scholl fly when I was about 12 years old the first time in Fort Worth, Texas. It was right after the National Aerobatic Championships, and there was an air show right after the championships. And I remember the day real well. It was a rainy old day, a day that we normally wouldn't want to fly air shows, and Art flew. And I think the thing I probably remember most is the Lumshavak. That's the first time I'd ever seen a Lumshavak. The second thing I remember most is, besides having his chipmunk there, he had the first Pitts S2A that I'd ever seen. And man, did I want that S2A. I went home and I thought of all these ways that I could make the $19,000 it was to buy a Pitts S2A in 1971. But I was lucky, mostly just because where I lived in the part of the country, to be influenced by some of the great airshow pilots, all of them on the Hall of Fame, actually. Dwayne Cole was my first instructor, and I mean, he was an instructor, but then he became my friend. I went to air shows with him. I'd walk out on the line at Oshkosh with him, sit out there and watch all the other airshow performers. He, in our training, he always did power off aerobatics at the last. So, of course, Dwayne did the dead stick aerobatic tailcraft act. And he was just a good friend besides being my instructor, and he was always an inspiration. Also, living near Fort Worth, Texas. Of course, I saw Charlie Hillard fly also in that same air show that I first saw Art show. And, you know, Charlie was my hero. I mean, from when I was a little kid, I knew who Charlie Hillard was. But I didn't actually have a chance to meet him until, I mean, I was too shy just to go talk to him. But in about 1978, a clip-wing Cub came for sale in the traded plane, and it said, "Call Charlie Hillard." It's like, wow, this is a great opportunity. So I talked my grandfather into buying the clip-wing Cub for me so I could meet Charlie Hillard, which worked out very well. And I went to school on TCU, which was right down University Parkway from Charlie Hillard Ford. And I would go down and sit in Charlie Hillard's office, and he would go sell cars, and he would come back, and we would talk aerobatics. And I mean, he never turned me away. He never said, you know, "I'm too busy to talk to you." He would just go do his stuff, and he'd come back, and we'd talk. And then one time he said, "You know, I used to do this with Bevo Howard." Charlie saying that he used to sit in Bevo Howard's office. I don't know if y'all know who Bevo Howard is, but he's also a Hall of Fame and one of the greatest airshow pilots from the probably 30s, 40s, and 50s, 60s. So I kind of got the feeling that this was being passed down to me from Bevo to Charlie to me. So like I said, I was just lucky to live in Texas and have these people close to me. Another great inspiration of mine was Leo Loudensager. I saw Leo fly at the 1977 Nationals. I saw the blue monoplane that Leo flew. It was the only monoplane there. You know, his flying at that time was totally different. The airplane was totally different. And I said, I got to have that airplane. You see a pattern here of the airplanes? Well, there was only 2 lasers at that time, Jim and Leo's, and the only way to get one was to build one. So Leo lived in Sussex, New Jersey, but a week every year he would come to Texas and practice for the Nationals. And I figured out where he practiced, and I would skip school and go watch Leo practice, and got to be friends with Leo. And I told him I wanted to build the airplane. He was totally supportive of it. The Steven Zacro plans were totally useless. So anything I needed to build that airplane, I had to call Leo. And he always talked to me. I would call him, ask what size tubing this is or what size that. He always talked to me. And he was a great inspiration of mine also. And I was just lucky, just because I lived in Texas, to meet these guys. But they were all great inspirations to me. Some of the people I'd like to thank, Mike Goulian. He's always helped me. The first time I flew at Oshkosh, the briefing back in the early days of Oshkosh wasn't quite like it is now. It was mostly just, they called out the names, everybody applauded, and that was it. And the first time I flew there, I was like, Mike, what do I do? Also, the first time I raced a jet truck, I had to call Mike. Mike, how do I do that? First time I circled the jumpers, Mike, give me guidance on that. So I was lucky to have friends, all these great friends. I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for my grandfather who started me in aerobatics. My parents always supported me. My wife. Really? Wow. Yeah, my dad always supported me. No matter what it was going to cost, he was going to pay for it, and we were going to get that airplane. Boy, I lost my track of thought now. My wife. Anybody that knows me knows that if you want to get a hold of me and need anything out of me, you talk to Martha. I did last time. In all my years of competition flying, I'm up there having fun. She's on the ground in the field, usually with some Russian or French coach that, I can't understand. She has to interpret to me. And she's always been totally supportive of me. Sometimes I wish she might have said no on a few things, but she never did. So thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you all for this. It's very special.
And David, as you get your award, we also want to bring Judy Scholl up here. Judy, if you join us too for the photographs and that wonderful moment, and then later we'll join you, of course, with that wonderful cask and that Jack Daniels. David Martin, ladies and gentlemen.